Hello, I'm David from DN Cognitive Counseling, and today we're going to talk about parenting. I want to welcome you to the YouTube channel. Before we get to today's topic, I was asked a question that I thought was very good by Eve, and I really want to explain that. So Eve, first of all, thank you for your question. Eve said to me, why is it that I didn't start with discipline, and will I be getting to it? So yes, I will be getting to discipline in great detail. But the reason why I didn't start with discipline is because parenting is not about the discipline. The discipline is actually one of the last things you're going to be talking about when it comes to parenting. Parenting is about establishing a relationship between you and the child. It's not about what you do to help teach them the proper things, but it's about that first initial aspects of a relationship. Think about this. When you have a baby that's born, how much discipline do you do in the first 6 months of life? I'm hoping most of you in here said none, because at that point, discipline would be inappropriate. What you're doing is providing for the child's needs and fostering the ability for them to trust you and understand that you're going to be there for them. And that's what helps to build that relationship. So let's get into today's topic. We were talking about the idea of creating a nurturing child. And again, the first thing that you want to do is provide the physical security for that child, so that what you're doing for that child is giving them a sense that there's safety. There's safety to be with you, safety in their environment. So what would that look like? For one thing, you want to go ahead and provide food for the child, right? Food gives a sense of nurturing. In fact, babies cry when they're hungry. You want to give them shelter. Shelter goes ahead and makes them feel safe. You want to give them clothing. Clothing helps a child to go ahead and be able to be warm, and again, a sense of being taken care of. You want to teach a child, as they get older, personal hygiene. Personal hygiene helps a child to be able to acclimate to their environment with other people, and also that people will accept them. You want to go ahead and monitor a child's safety so that the child is physically not in danger. Like you don't allow your 2-year-old to go into the street because it could be very dangerous for them. So providing that physical security for them is incredibly important. Maintain a family routine. When children are in a routine that goes over and over and over, they feel more secure. And when you take them out of that routine, what does that do to a child? It makes them feel insecure. And a lot of insecurities that take place happens when routines are disrupted. An example of this, if you are in a 2-parent family and one of the parents go to the hospital, for a lot of children that can be a very traumatic event. If a parent dies, it's a very traumatic event. If there's a death in the extended family, that could be a very traumatic event because it breaks that routine and that security. And in schools, that's the reason why the child goes ahead and has this activity first, then this activity second, then we go to lunch, then we have this activity fourth, and they understand the ideas of routines because it gives them a sense of safety. And then, of course, you want to go ahead and attend to physical wounds. You want children to be taken care of in a physical way so that you're helping them in a manner that protects them in a physical way. And by doing all of those things, you're really providing the physical security for a child. Now, in the United States, we generally do providing physical security very well. In fact, sometimes we overindulge in this area. We give children not only what they need, but what they want. And then we call it needs. Like, I need my Xbox, or I need new shoes. I'll give you an example of this. This happened many years ago. I had a child in my office, a 12-year-old, and she was there with her mother, and she was, shall we say, unruly to the mother, to say the least, using language and profanity at the mother. And at the end of the session, the child said to the mother, let's go. And I said to the mother, where are you going? She goes, well, I promised my daughter that I would take her to buy shoes. Now, the shoes was actually sneakers. And I said, after the way she spoke to you today, you're going ahead to take her to buy shoes. And I said to the mother, that's the reason why your daughter could talk to you that way. There is no element, there's no boundary about the difference between needs and wants. And a lot of times with the aspect of physical security, a lot of parents confuse this. So yes, we have to give children what they need. There's no question about that. That is the job. But all of the benefits of the wants, those things are not just givens. Children are not entitled to everything. One of the things that we want to do as parents is limit that to be able to help the child to understand those boundaries. Earning things? Absolutely. But not just to give them. The next thing I want to talk about is providing emotional security. Now, as I said, in the United States, we do a very good job with providing the physical security. But a lot of times, a lot of the issues that are the problems in the parent-child relationship is involved in this area. And in actuality, there are 6 subtypes to providing emotional security. But let's just talk a little bit about this in the general sense first. The first thing you want to do is talk and act so that children feel safe and comfortable with expressing themselves. Now, I know a lot of parents have difficulty with this because they want their child to be agreeable, but that's actually not healthy. Children go through a stage of becoming autonomous. It starts at about the age of 2. Some of you might have heard of it, called the terrible twos. Now, the truth is, I don't like that term because what it sounds like you're saying is something wrong with my child that they're sitting here and acting out. But if you understand what's going on, that is actually the most healthy thing they can do. A child sees themselves generally, and again, because that the generally primary caregiver is mom, at least historically, the child sees themselves as an outgrowth of generally that parent. And what happens is, as they get to the age of 2, and a little bit younger, they start to assert their independence. The term for this was called rapprochement. The term is not important, but the idea is that the child starts to push for their independence and see themselves as separating and individuating from their parent, which is the reason why a child's favorite word at the age is no. No sets a boundary. No, I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to go there. No, don't make me do this. And that's why children throw tantrums, trying to assert their independence, which is normal and healthy. The idea when a 2-year-old throws a tantrum is not to get angry, not to get upset. It's saying, great, my child's growing, and you should be happy that they're growing. One of the worst things you can do is start to attenuate to that tantrum and give it attention. Because when you do, what ends up happening is the child learns that as I scream and yell, I get more attention for doing it, and then you reinforce that behavior. So when a child at 2 years old is throwing a tantrum, let them, and be very calm, very relaxed, and let them go through it. You'll notice that if you do that, those tantrums will get shorter and shorter and shorter, and you won't be dealing with them for much longer. So that's just one aspect of allowing your child to act in their way of going ahead and asserting themselves. But as they get older, then they're going to have their own opinions. And too many times parents are like, oh, that's foolish, or that's dumb, and that's horrible. It's important to give the respect to your child. I know that's going to sound a little bit strange, but it's very important. For their opinions, for what they think, even if it's wrong. They're entitled to be wrong. They're entitled to get something that's not right. But you want to give them the opportunity to express themselves. So it creates a stronger bond in the relationship. Think about your spouse. Do you always agree? Is everything that you say, they say? And the answer is, of course not. But it is those disagreements and those fights that actually strengthen the relationship, and it's something that you want to do. Now, I don't mean fight necessarily in the aspect of having a fight, but just in the aspect of disagreeing. when your child is going ahead and acting this way. Be gentle. It doesn't have to be a war of words. It could be them expressing their opinion, you expressing yours. In AA parlance, there's a concept of it's all right, you can let other people be wrong. You don't have to always convince everybody you're right. It's okay, you can be wrong as much as you like, but you give them the respect to be able to be wrong. The other aspect is being dependable. One of the biggest problems that happen with parents is when they come home, that depending on their day is what type of parent they're going to be to their child. If it was a great day at work, come home, it's a good day, I'm a great day to be a parent. If I had a really bad day at work, you can't deal with me at all and you got to be pushed away. For children, that's very confusing. It is important for a parent to separate out that aspect of their life from their family life. Why did you make this family to begin with? Were you in love with the person when you married them? And if you weren't, are you still going ahead and building a family for a reason? Think about that when you walk through the door and say to yourself, whether you're mom or dad, right now I am leaving whatever happened at work in my life to come home and deal with the people that I love. One of the things I tell a lot of my parents to do is when they come through the door, the first thing you want to do is hug your kids, kiss your kids, and tell them you love them. And if you can't be there because you had to work, one of the things that's nice to say is, I really wish I would have spent the day with you, but I had to work. When a child hears that, they're more apt to be able to accept the parent has to leave, and they're more apt to be able to go ahead and say, I understand, but I know my parent loves me. And that's an action of dependability. I hope that you'll go ahead and take some of these suggestions and think about them. If you have any questions or comments, please write them down. I'll be very happy to answer any of them. And again, if you liked this and found this helpful, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and if anybody would like to support, I've gone ahead and put myself on Subcribe-star so you could support this endeavor. I thank you very much, and I hope you will join me again when I talk about trust and respect in the relationship next. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you next time.